Welcome into another week here on Morning JOX, JOX 94.5, Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you on your Monday morning, getting you started with another week here. Appreciate you joining us here this morning as, man, it was guess we should have seen this coming probably, Damian, because we spent a lot of time last week talking about the spring meetings going on in the SEC down in Destin, and a lot of that was us talking about why the SEC was so great and why they, deserve all of these things that they're asking for when it comes to the college football playoff. And I mean, they even made us a nice pamphlet that kind of laid out all that information for us. So it was only fair that, the conference would be served a slice of humble pie at some point. And unfortunately, that seemingly happened this weekend in the form of the SEC or the college baseball regionals, which were loaded with SEC teams, and the super regional round maybe will not be loaded with SEC teams. So we had a lot going on there. So one team in the state very happy right now, one team in the state very disappointed yet again. So we'll get into all of that. You had a big day yesterday in Memphis. Seems like a lot of Stallions fans made the trek up the road to Memphis, and it was certainly worth it. If you're one of the ones that made it up there, we'd love to hear from you. But a fireworks, I guess would be the way to say it, to end the season for the Birmingham Stallions over the weekend. We have the NBA Finals are finally set. You had the Atlanta Braves. I know Landrum Roberts was over there for affiliates weekend. Hope the food was good. Hope the atmosphere was good.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah. So the Braves they're still playing baseball. I
Yeah.
mean,
Hope they treated Landrum well.
I hope they did as well. But we also have, and we didn't share this on Friday because we were kind of figuring out how we wanted to do this, but we've done the SEC Mount Rushmores, and we've gone through now every single school in the conference and told you who we think the best players in their history are. We've given you our all-time SEC Mount Rushmore. We've done our head coaches for you. So today we wanted to do something a little bit different. And, this isn't traditionally how you would think of Mount Rushmores, but I think it'd be a fun conversation to have. And so today we wanted to give you our Mount Rushmores for the 4 players that we're the most excited to watch this upcoming season in the SEC. So not a Mount Rushmore in the traditional sense of historical greatness, but for this one, we are going to do the 4 players you are most excited to watch this upcoming year. So maybe you're an Auburn fan and you want to have Jackson Arnold and Cam Coleman and Eric Singleton and, Perry Thompson on there. And you're just so excited for all those receivers and Jackson Arnold, and you just want to have them all on there. You can do that. If you're Alabama and you want to load up with Ty Simpson and Isaiah Horton and Ryan Williams and Jeremy Bernard and whoever else, you can absolutely do that. Or you can, go around and do it through the entire conference. So that's what me and Damien are going to do. You can send those in at 205-834-9450. So I know some of you want some time to brainstorm to think about those. So we won't do those until later in the show, but that is going to be the topic of the day if you want to go ahead and start brainstorming on that a little bit. But we'll start off with what happened this weekend in the world of SEC baseball. And as I mentioned, you had one team in the state this weekend that's going to be very happy, one team in the state that's not going to be particularly happy, unfortunately. But we'll start off with the happy team, and that is the Auburn Tigers. So they were hosting their regional there on the Plains over the weekend. Got things started off hot on Friday against Central Connecticut, and that kind of just rolled throughout for Auburn as they sweep their way through the Auburn Regional as they took down NC State 11-1 last night. Just an absolutely dominant performance there from the Auburn Tigers. You had Alvarez on the bump. He goes 5 innings, 0 runs allowed, 6 hits, strikes out 5 of the Wolfpack, and Auburn is going to find themselves advancing. And a big part of that is because their star player this year, Ike Irish, continues to rake for the Auburn Tigers. And you got a little taste of that last night. This is how it sounded if you're watching the Auburn Tigers dismantle NC State on ESPN+. We're having technical difficulties. Bear with us for 1 second. It's going to be worth it, Auburn fans, I promise you. It's going to make your entire morning. Okay, maybe we'll come back to it later. So some things just aren't in the cards. But Auburn, you did have a a big win again, 11-1, an emphatic win there over NC State yesterday. So Auburn now finds themselves, they will advance to the super regional round. It looks like Coastal Carolina is projected as a team that will join them. Coastal Carolina, another host that they won and advanced this weekend as well. And based on something we're about to talk about, Auburn's going to move up as far as the overall seeding goes, you would imagine, heading into super regionals. So big weekend there for the Auburn Tigers. On the other side of the state, though, unfortunately, if you are an Alabama fan, didn't go well at all. So you opened up play on Friday against Miami. That didn't go particularly well for you. Alabama had a chance to make it interesting. Came a couple of inches away from hitting a walk-off home run at the end of the game, but started off, Miami was able to load it up early. Just wasn't going. Anything wasn't going for Alabama offensively. They do find a way to fight back. You had Snell, who sent one to the warning track at the very end there, but Alabama comes up just a few inches short of potentially taking a game there. So the Hurricanes take that one, and then you have Alabama with a lead over Southern Miss, who was the host team late in that game on Saturday, but Alabama blows a late lead. Southern Miss advances, and Alabama loses back-to-back games, actually 3 straight if you go back to the SEC tournament. First time they've lost 3 straight games all season long, and that is how the Alabama Crimson Tide season ends. So unfortunately, a very good regular season that runs out of steam in the postseason, and now nobody's really going to remember how great of a regular season you had because unfortunately, yet again, Alabama just not able to find success in the postseason. So tough way for them to go out, but it is what it is, and that's the way that it works. So Auburn, they're advancing on to the super regionals. Alabama, they are not. But it's not just going to be Alabama, Damian, that's not finding themselves in the super regionals because it's a really bad weekend for a lot of schools in the SEC. Let's just call it what it was.
Yeah, it was indeed. Yeah, and you kind of brought up a great point with the SEC meetings, and just for that to be represented in the baseball world thing. That's why we talk about football all the time because the situation is like this, where even the team on the opposite side of town it fell short, but we still have representation nonetheless. It might not be as much as it used to be, but we got a fighting chance, I think.
Yeah, we do. And today could be a good day for the SEC. It could also be a not great day. But as it stands right now, you have 13 SEC teams make it to regionals. Only 2 have punched their ticket to the super regionals. So that would be the Auburn Tigers as well as the Arkansas Razorbacks, who were hosting there in Fayetteville. So they have secured their spots moving forward. But we already told you, so Alabama, they fall short this weekend, losing back-to-back Miami and Southern Miss. So they're out of it. How about the number 1 overall seed in the tournament, though, the Vanderbilt Commodores? Surely, them hosting there in Nashville, they got hot in Hoover, won the SEC baseball tournament here just a couple weeks ago, and they find themselves in a region with Louisville, Wright State, and those kinds of teams, and ultimately Vanderbilt becomes the first number 1 overall seed to ever be eliminated before making it to the regional final. So they didn't even make it to the final series of their own regional, where it was, if we win a game here, we're going on to the supers. If we lose, we get knocked out. They didn't even make it to the end of their own regional. So Vanderbilt, they get knocked out by Wright State yesterday, 5-4. Their season comes to an early end. Absolutely shocking, but equally shocking, I think for a lot of us would be, so you have the SEC baseball tournament champions, they get eliminated, and then you have the SEC regular season champions, the Texas Longhorns. They host their regional this weekend, and they get knocked out by UTSA, and there's a great line from Jim Schlossnagle, their coach, afterwards. So they get knocked out by UTSA, and his comment was essentially, well, yeah, 75% of our fan base actually attended UTSA because they didn't attend UT. And so they didn't know who to root for this weekend because there were a lot of complaints that the Texas crowd was very lackluster to be hosting a regional, and that UTSA kind of took over the arena there.
Make it make sense. Like, not one to say that, not to say that fans don't matter, but I don't think that really had much to do with it. I think it's if you didn't get done at the plate, that kind of happens.
Yeah, so Texas looked like they were going to have a very special season here to kick off their SEC tenure. They will still be the regular season champions, but again, that really doesn't matter now because You were the number 1 team in the country for a good part of the season. You're the number 2 overall seed coming into the tournament, and now they are going home. And this is the first time or the second time, excuse me, in the last 26 years that both your number 1 and number 2 overall seeds will get eliminated before the super regional round. But unfortunately, it didn't stop there for the SEC. You have Georgia. They got eliminated yesterday on a walk-off home run. Oklahoma State hit 2 home runs in the bottom of the 9th inning to come back and win that one.
And they were no doubters too. Like it
Oh,
was.
yeah.
It was.
I mean, the dude went oppo too on the
Right.
on the walk-off. It was just, I mean,
Yeah.
only so much you can do there. So unfortunately, Georgia, they find themselves on the outside looking in. You had Kentucky. They were having a good weekend. They eliminated Clemson, who was the host up there in South Carolina. So they knock off Clemson, but then they move on to West Virginia. West Virginia takes care of business 13-12. Kentucky was up, is it 12-7 or 12-8 in the 8th inning, and they lose that game. And West Virginia, they advanced to Super Regional. So Kentucky was eliminated. Mississippi State, they got knocked out by Florida State yesterday as FSU. They've moved on to a Super Regional. And now you have Florida. They also got eliminated by Eastern Carolina. So currently the tally, 2 SEC teams have made it to the Super Regional. 7 have been eliminated.
Ouch.
And then you have 4 that are in winner-take-all games today with an opportunity to advance on. And so those 4 teams are going to be LSU, Tennessee, Ole Miss, and Oklahoma. Those teams will all have an opportunity to punch their ticket to the Super Regionals today. You're going to have North Carolina and Oklahoma going to battle at 2 o'clock today. Murray State and Ole Miss at 5. Wake Forest and Tennessee at 5. And then LSU and Little Rock at 8 p.m. So those are going to be your teams. Little Rock, how about this? So they knock off LSU last night. Their record this season is 27-33.
They're just
on
happy
the
to be
season,
here.
and they are taking LSU down to the wire in Baton Rouge.
Yeah, that goes to show you that records don't really matter in situations like this. You just gotta be better than that team that day. It's very telling. It's very telling.
Yes, it absolutely is. So a big day for us here in the SEC. Opportunity to get 6 teams into the Super Regionals potentially. Could have as few as 2, but could also have as many as 6. So we will see how that plays out. And of course, we'll have recaps for you tomorrow morning after all of those games have been figured out and we get the Super Regional slates ready to go here in the next few days. But that's your SEC baseball recap from over the weekend. Also, quickly, we did find out officially, this had been rumored on Friday, but Mississippi State, they have hired their next head coach. It is Virginia head coach Brian O'Connor. So he had been at Virginia. He had been their head coach for 21 seasons, won the national championship there in 2015, made it to 7 College World Series. So certainly a nice addition there for Mississippi State. And a program that has already made it known that they were going to make him one of the highest paid coaches in college baseball, and they were significantly going to increase their NIL for their baseball program. So good news there if you're a Mississippi State fan. Seems like you are in good hands. And then on the other side, you also had Texas A&M, where they announced on Friday that they are going to maintain their head coach, Michael Early, who took over after Schlossnagle abandoned them for their rivals. But they have decided they're going to give him another year.
He accepted a new job, Conrad. He didn't abandon them.
He abandoned them. And but they decided they're going to stick it out with Coach Early, even though, unfortunately, they didn't make the postseason this year. Really sad news. I know we're all really beat up about that. But yeah, so Texas A&M, they're going to give it another go with their head coach. So on the other side, going to take a quick break. We have some SEC softball news going on, as well as the Birmingham Stallions. What a game it was yesterday. If you missed it yesterday, you're absolutely not going to want to miss the recap because it was a performance of definitely the performance of the season from the Birmingham Stallions, and hopefully something they're able to carry on to the postseason this weekend. And we're also going to get to our SEC Mount Rushmores, the 4 players you're most excited to watch this upcoming fall in SEC football. We'll get all of that next here on the other side. Morning Jocks and Jocks 94.5. 6:18 here on your Monday morning. Appreciate you tuning in to Morning JOX here with Conrad and Damien. So we'll take you up to McElroy and Kubelik in the morning. Speaking of mountains, if you want to get in your Mount Rushmore for today, you can do so at 205-834-9450. A couple of you sending them in already. Know you guys. We tried to give you a heads up, and we didn't on Friday, so we know it takes a little time to brainstorm and put together these lists because y'all are very intelligent listeners, and these are very, very important, very serious topics that we talk about here on our SEC Mount Rushmore. So today we're going to do the 4 players we're most excited to watch this upcoming season. And you can continue sending those in 205-834-9450. Did have SEC softball going on over the weekend, though, as we near closer to the Women's College World Series Championship Series coming up in just a couple of days. So yesterday, it was a pair of SEC teams escaping elimination. You had Oklahoma, the 4-time defending champions, taking down Oregon 4-1 there. So Oklahoma, they survive in advance for another day. And then you had Tennessee taking down UCLA 5-4 in a very bizarre game. If you saw, and correct me if I'm wrong, anybody, but from what I remember, so you had UCLA, they hit a home run to tie it. But the girl for UCLA, when she crosses home plate, celebrated with her teammates, she never touches home. Like, she just completely misses the base. And so then they go and review it, and they confirm that, yeah, she never touched home plate and it's not a home run, but they say that it's an unreviewable play after they just took 5 to 10 minutes to review it.
Oh, it was 13 minutes.
13 minutes to review it.
Right.
There you go. And then they ultimately say, yeah, we should have called this, but we can't actually review this play even though we just did, so the home run stands and it becomes a tie game. But then Tennessee ultimately gets the walk-off.
Yeah. It makes no sense that, okay, yeah, you're going to review it, but it's not reviewable.
Why waste the time?
Why waste the time? Why waste 13 minutes at that? Now, if it was something that, within 5 minutes, you'd be like, hey, buzz down to the officials and say, hey, we can't do anything about it. So kind of just play ball, essentially. But I think that, to take that much time and then come back and say, well, we can't really review it. So what was the point?
Yeah, that one, I'll be honest, that one lost me a little bit where I was, okay, so we're just doing this for fun now. And if anything, right, so you're going to take the time to review it. Let us know that we got screwed over on the call, but there's nothing you can do about it. Great, thanks. Like,
that's exactly
just
what
let
we
me keep
to
playing ball so I don't have to think, like, let the people at home on social media figure out that this was a mistake, and then, we'll deal with it afterwards. But, hey, ball don't lie. Tennessee ends up winning like they were supposed to. And so now things going a little bit better for the SEC and softball ranks as 3 of the final 4 teams left alive in the Women's College World Series hail from the SEC. And you're going to have Tennessee and Texas doing battle tonight, or actually this morning, excuse me. They're going to get started at 11 a.m. here, Tennessee versus Texas. If Tennessee wins, they will move on to a winner-take-all Game 3. If Texas wins, they're going to the championship series. And then similarly, you have Oklahoma and Texas Tech tonight. That's going to get underway at 6 p.m. If Oklahoma wins, then they will play a decisive Game 3. If Texas Tech wins, they are going to advance to the Women's College World Series. So we're guaranteed at least one spot in between Texas and Tennessee, and then potentially an all-SEC final. You could even have a Red River rivalry.
Oh, boy.
Final.
The SEC edition.
That's right, the SEC edition. That is
I'm here for it.
That is on the table, yeah. So good looks there for SEC softball going a little bit better. And the championship series, that's going to get underway on Wednesday. So that's why you have the doubleheaders today. And then you'll have Wednesday, Thursday, and then Friday, if necessary, would be the decisive Game 3 for the Women's College World Series there from Oklahoma City. Something else we had going on over the weekend, Damien, as I know we're all giddy this morning for the Birmingham Stallions, as revenge was certainly something that a lot of us wanted over the weekend, Damien, as we took on the Memphis Showboats. If you remember, Memphis got the better end of an overtime game with the Stallions earlier this season, and Memphis is not very good. So that was definitely one that stung, and I think you saw yesterday a Birmingham Stallions team that had a little bit of a chip on their shoulder, considering this had no impact on playoff seeding, where the playoff game was going to be played, anything of that nature. This was about your pride yesterday.
Exactly. And we put it on full display. That was one of those beatdowns that like you messed up in school and you're just sitting around waiting for that butt whooping from your dad at the house. This is exactly what we did to Memphis, and I enjoyed every single second of it because it was what you needed to see. This is probably the most confident I felt in the Birmingham Stallions pretty much all season long, where it's like, okay, we got everything. We've ironed everything out. I don't care that Memphis
Birmingham ironed.
Like that play.
Sorry,
good
that was
play.
Real corny.
That was the Louis Perez.
That's
era.
right.
That was Louis Perez era. But everything that needed to happen for Birmingham happened yesterday. Offense was clicking. Defense, Tay Crowder in particular, he just had him a fantasy football day with 2 pick sixes. And I think that that's the momentum you've got to carry into a situation like that. One, it was a bad football team. I could care less. If that Birmingham Stallions team that was on the field yesterday shows up in this playoffs, you cannot deny us the championship. Like, there's no ands, ifs, or buts about it. Jamar Smith, he has been the answer that we've needed the entire time. I know we've had some inconsistencies due to injury at the quarterback position, but now I'm sitting there questioning, why the hell wasn't Jamar on the roster this entire time? Because if him and Skip just got to a point where it's like, hey, man, you done brought in Alex McGough, you done brought in Matt Corral, sorry, buddy, but there's a reason why he was the first one that brought us the championship.
Say everything happens for a reason.
Exactly. It comes back full circle. But I think what we saw from the Birmingham Stallions, it is almost impossible for me not to believe that we should be favored because that is the game we needed to see. And one, yes, I know Bryce Perkins is probably going to win, MVP for the UFL. But if that defense shows up like we just saw this past weekend here in Protective, I don't care who's at quarter. You put Patrick Mahomes on the other side. Well, let me slow it down a little bit. You put Will Levis on the other side, he ain't gonna look worth a damn. And I'm telling you, that was that was the best game we had seen from the Birmingham Stallions all season long, and it came at the perfect time, getting us set for the playoffs.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt about that was the best showing you've had all season. So the Stallions win 46-9. It was 23-9 at halftime. Birmingham shuts them out in the second half. Jamar Smith got to sit on the bench for the second half.
Didn't have to waste your breath, dog. Don't need to. We gotta make sure your legs and stuff are good for this weekend.
That's absolutely right. So yeah, the Stallions, they finished the year 7-3, second best record in the league. The Battlehawks finished 8-2. They're on the XFL side of the bracket, so they have the best overall record. Attendance yesterday, 4,573, so not bad. That's more than double what they had a couple weeks ago. So, again, I think a lot of Stallions fans made the trek up there. But, yeah, like Damian said, Tay Crowder, definitely the MVP yesterday for the Stallions. He has 2 pick sixes yesterday. Absolutely insane. Jamar Smith, he goes 13-17, 127 yards through the air, a touchdown, no interceptions. Austin Peasley comes in the second half. He completes about 60% of his throws, goes for 93 passing yards, no touchdowns for him. But you had Ricky Person. He has 2 rushing touchdowns yesterday. No turnovers for the Stallions. They didn't allow a sack yesterday. And the Showboats were held to 201 yards of total offense. So
hope they enjoy Cancun. Well, I don't know.
I don't know if that's where they go.
Cancun. But,
yeah, I don't know if that's Tupelo.
With Charles Barkley, they send him to Galveston.
Yeah, there you. That's right. Maybe they go to Gatlinburg or something. But yeah, so the Showboats, their season is over, and yeah, I mean, you already saw it yesterday, but that's gonna be the team. I'm just saying, people will be talking about in terms of, all right, do we keep them in Memphis? Do the Showboats need to go somewhere else? What's the future of that program or that franchise going to look like? Because, yeah, the attendance hasn't been great and the product on the field hasn't been great. So hopefully they can get that figured out.
And I'll tell you another team, too, just a complete sidebar. The San Antonio Brahmas, their quarterback room, it has Kellen Mond and Jared Garantano.
Yeah, it's not good. Couple blasts from the past there.
Yeah, and you know.
Not like really good kinds.
That's what you picking up what I'm putting down. Like, I just kind of look at that room of like, oh, even with us with all the injuries, I wouldn't. Lord knows I would not want to see those two in red and gold here in Birmingham. But hey, San Antonio, y'all had a season. Yeah. But a lot of things happened. A lot of things changed early on, but never really recovered. But
no, they certainly did not. But the Stallions, they did recover because again, things were a little rocky to start the season, but you're here. at the end of the road, 7-3, hosting a playoff game next weekend. And as you already know, I know a lot of you making plans to be there. I know I'm going to be there, Damian. I'm sure you're going to be there as well.
Yes, sir.
But this Sunday, 2 p.m., so you can go to church, you can go have your lunch, everything out of the way, and then you can head over to Protective Stadium. 2 p.m. is going to be the kickoff. Birmingham Stallions, Michigan Panthers. That's going to be the USFL championship game there. The winner of that will advance to the overall title game, and Birmingham would have a chance to go for that four-peat. So never lost to Michigan. Sure as hell ain't going to happen this week.
Let's
Damian.
go.
So Sunday in Protective Stadium, 2 p.m., your playoff game between the Stallions and Panthers. Hope many of you will be there because we'll be there, and we'd love to see you and cheer on the Stallions. Damian will have his shirt off. I don't know. Maybe
More than likely.
I might. Maybe
We gotta
we'll
think
see.
it's Sunday in June too, man. It's
My shirt will probably be off then just by necessity, if we're being completely honest then.
Right.
But yeah, so make sure you find time to get down to Protective Stadium for that this weekend. But we do have our upcoming Mount Rushmore. If you're just now joining us to this week or this morning, we're going to do our SEC Mount Rushmore for the players we are most excited to watch this upcoming season. So whether you want to go all Alabama, all Auburn, all whatever team it is that you pull for, or you want to spread out the love a little bit, you can do that. Send those in 205-834-9450. We will share those on the other side, and I may have also made a list of the 4 Alabama players that I'm the most excited to watch this year for a little honorable mention there. So we'll get to all of that. Going to take a quick break. Come back, get to those Mount Rushmores, 205-834-9450. Keep it locked right here on JOX 94.5. Appreciate you tuning in to Morning Jocks here on your Monday morning. Conrad and Damian with you, about to deliver our Mount Rushmore for the SEC players we're most excited to watch this upcoming season. Some of you are already sitting in your list, 205-834-9450 if you want to do so. But quickly, over the weekend, just a quick Braves update for you because, yes, they are still playing baseball, much to the chagrin of some of you. But they will continue on as they took on the Boston Red Sox this weekend. Unfortunately for the Braves, they fall in 2 of 3, so they lose on Friday and Sunday, pick up the middle of the weekend there on Saturday. But yesterday, it's a 3-1 loss for the Red Sox and the Braves, and not the most entertaining game if you're watching because you had the Red Sox picked up 3 runs there off a Trevor Story RBI double there in the first inning, so he cleared the bases with the double, made it 3-0. Ozuna comes up to the plate in the bottom of the first. He hits a home run, so it's 3-1, and that was it. That was all the scoring that you would get for the rest of the game. So the Red Sox, they take that one 3-1 yesterday as Bryce Elder makes his first start coming up, and he got called back up because A.J. Smith-Shawver hurt his elbow last week, and we got confirmation that that is a UCL injury. So unfortunately for him, he's out the rest of this season. Going to miss a lot of next season as well. So it's really going to be probably 2027 before you're looking at him being back to full strength there for the Atlanta Braves. So really sad news for them this weekend, but they lose 2 of 3 to the Red Sox. They lose the potential NL Rookie of the Year for the rest of the season and a lot of next season. And so now if you're Atlanta, you are in 4th place in the NL East. You're 9.5 games back of the New York Mets. And you are 5.5 games back of a wild card spot. So again, the season is not over. You have the Diamondbacks coming to town, so you're off today. Pick up with the Diamondbacks tomorrow, but certainly another bad weekend for Braves fans. So sorry to hear that about A.J. Smith-Shawver, but Spencer Strider back, Acuna back. Maybe Bryce Elder can give you a little bit of a spark because he was pitching pretty well before he got sent down earlier in the year, but got to get something going against the D-backs this week. All right, now it's time for our daily tradition here on Morning Jocks. Time for our Mount Rushmore of SEC players we are most excited to watch this upcoming season. So we're going to give you our list, and then we are going to get yours on the courtesy GMC text line as well. All right, so I didn't do honorable mentions, so I'm just going to give you my 4, but then I also did 4 for Alabama. So because I figured a lot of people probably going to do Alabama or Auburn list or mainly – Alabama and Auburn players. So I'm going to do 1 for general SEC, and then I'm going to do 1 for strictly Alabama. So let's get started. My SEC Mount Rushmore, the guys I'm most excited to watch this upcoming season. Unsurprisingly, I have Ryan Williams at the top of my list. I think we're all very excited to see how he's able to kind of build off his freshman season because the second half of last season, not nearly as productive as the first. So can he live up to all the hype and prove that he is one of the best receivers to come through Alabama?
He's 18 years old now.
He is 18, so we no longer have to hear that he's only 17.
Nope, he's 18.
Thank God. All right, so I have Ryan Williams at number 1. I have DJ Lagway at number 2. Very, very excited to watch him. He is the quarterback I'm actually the most excited to watch. Now, I think some quarterbacks maybe have a little more pressure on their plate, a la an Arch Manning or somebody like that, but I love DJ Lagway. Watching him play last year has me really excited about what he can do for Florida. If he's healthy, it looks like he is going to be healthy, and that shoulder's getting fixed. So DJ Lagway is next up for me. Then on the defensive side of the ball, I had to go Colin Simmons, who's an absolute monster for Texas. So this dude, he had 9 sacks last year as a freshman, so comes back this year. It was tough for me to pick between him and Dylan Stewart, but I went with Colin Simmons there at Texas. I think he might have a very, very special season this upcoming year. And then finally for me, I tried to go for a little bit more of a wild card here. I'm very, very excited to watch this guy play, but we just don't know a lot about him, and that's what makes me so excited. I went Austin Simmons, actually, at Ole Miss, because I think we know what good quarterbacks are capable of in a Lane Kiffin offense. And I think we all know that Ole Miss can still be very good, and based on the one drive we saw against Georgia, we're all really excited, but I think just the fact we've only seen that one drive makes me more excited to see Austin Simmons because we don't know what all is there. So that's my 4 of my Mount Rushmore players. And then for Alabama, quickly, I already had Ryan Williams, so I didn't put him on here again. But I went Ty Simpson. Obviously, we're all excited to see what that's going to be about. Richard Young, really excited to see what he does as a running back. I think he can do a lot of things as a receiver. And then you also have Keon Sabb and LT Overton are the two guys on the defensive side of the ball that I'm most excited about. So now, Damian, let's hear from you. I know we're going to have some wide receivers on here, I'm sure.
Yeah.
And Joey Aguilar probably.
No. That's only the coach. That's only the coach. Okay. But I will say this: I tried my best to flip it over to the defensive side, and I couldn't. I'm an offensive guy. I really am. I am a receiver at heart, and I only narrowed my receivers down to 2.
Okay.
And both of them reside in the state of Alabama.
Alrighty.
Number 1, I do have the 18-year-old Ryan Williams. He's, again, for all the excitement that we saw last year, can he build it up? Can he stack 2 years on top of each other? I think what Coach Shepard has in that receiver room, he's going to be the alpha dog. And now it's, all right, young buck, everybody has the game plan against you now. It's no longer you're catching a lot of people by surprise. Now you are number 1 guy.
Yep.
What are you going to do? What are you going to show me? And then if you've seen him over the offseason, like he'll put on some weight. Like he's still young. So there are some nuances in the receiver game where I'm trying to see, okay, where does he take this next step? Does he truly take it? Same for the guy on the other side, Cam Coleman for Auburn. Now you look great against Alabama A&M. You look great against Louisiana Monroe. Your body control, any pass that's around you. Can you be more consistent? Can you show up and live up to the hype that everybody has put on you because it has to show? Mm-hmm. Like this is going to be – now Eric Singleton's going to take a lot of that pressure off of you because he's – the more I dive in the tape with him, he is – woo!
He's nice.
Oh, yes. Which leads me to my number 3 on my Mount Rushmore, Jackson Arnold. Change of scenery, change of location. Do we get the full package? Because when you go back – and I feel bad for Alabama fans. I went back and watched the Alabama and Oklahoma game. That piece of Jackson Arnold that utilizes his legs at the level that he does, that's another tool for this Auburn offense to truly, truly be better than what they were last year. I've really put the pressure on this offensive unit for Auburn to truly take them to the next level. And I think Jackson Arnold, he has it in him. Like, there's no denying it because you've seen it. We've seen it with our own eyes that when he's on, he's on. And now he's surrounded with so much talent. Can he just not be Peyton Thorne? That's all I ask. I'm not asking you to go out here and be on the Heisman Trophy watch list. But by God, can you be better than Peyton Thorne?
Yeah.
And number 4, Mount Rushmore, because they have expectations now, I'm going to South Carolina. I'm going with their quarterback, Lenore Sellers. If he can do, and I'm not saying he's going to be the next one, but if he can pull this South Carolina team like Cam Newton did with Auburn, South Carolina, again, they could really make some noise in the SEC. And really in a college football playoff situation. But now their schedule is a little trickier than it was last year. But you don't feel, again, it's kind of similar to what I said about Auburn. You're not sneaking up on anybody. You're not sneaking up on anybody anymore. They know who they need to stop, and that's number 16. Mm-hmm. But his talent is so, he's so gifted as a athlete, as a player. It's, all right, can you dig this South Carolina team out of situations? Because, yeah, you're going to be you're losing Rocket Sanders. You lose a little bit of that receiving core. But I think that your talent individually, it's going to be tough to put a quarterback spy on him because he's bigger, he's stronger, he's faster than a lot of guys that's going to be in space with him. Can he take that next jump? Can he truly just say, you know what, this is my squad, I got this. Him and Shane Beamer, they're locked in. Let's see where this thing can go. But I do think his overall talent, and it was kind of between him and Lagway, but I just think the potential for Lenore Sellers to be even better than good, like he could be truly great for South Carolina, that this could be a team that nobody really wants to face, and they showed it a little bit last year. So my Mount Rushmore, Cam Coleman, Jackson Arnold, Ryan Williams, and Lenore Sellers.
Very nice list there. Mine quickly, if you missed it, Ryan Williams, DJ Lagway, Colin Simmons, and Austin Simmons. Pair Simmons there on my list. So going to get to yours, 205-834-9450. Still have time to send yours in. Going to take a quick break. Come back on the other side, get to your Mount Rushmores, the players you, the listeners of JOX 94.5, are most excited to watch in 2025. That's coming up next on Morning JOX. 6:48. Thanks for joining us here on Morning Jocks. Conrad Van Order, Damian Mitchell here with you till we hand you off to McElroy and Kubelik in the morning at 7 o'clock. Of course, three-man front coming your way at 10, and then the Paul Feinbaum show at 2 p.m. So we have you covered all day here on Jocks 94.5. Time to get to the courtesy GMC text line 205-834-9450 because you, our wonderful listeners, have been sending in your Mount Rushmores. Who are the SEC players you are most excited to watch this upcoming football season? And so we go there now. Where Fanboy, he was the first to send in his list this morning, and he is going all Alabama. So these are the Alabama players that Fanboy is most excited to watch this year. He goes number 1, Isaiah Horton. Number 2, Ryan Williams. 3, Zay Mincy. And 4, Zabian Brown. Honorable mentions for him are Dylan Lee and Latsier Brooks, 2 of the freshmen coming in for Alabama. All right, like that list a lot there, Fanboy. Let's see. Lewis, he chimes in. He just goes, yesterday was a really big high with the Stallions. Giddy up. Really, really low with the WWE firing R-Truth. They did him dirty. My favorite guy in the wrestling biz.
Oh, I hate that.
I did not.
Must be some budget cuts.
About to say I missed that, so sorry about that, Lewis. Not as tapped into the wrestling scene as some others might be. Let's see, Joseph, he chimes in with his Mount Rushmore of SEC players. He goes Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, Gunnar Stockton, and Ryan Williams. He says honorable mentions for him: Arch Manning, Jaden Ott, John Mateer, and Cam Coleman. It's a lot of names right there.
How good do you think Gunnar Stockton is?
I don't know.
Right, I think you and I hate to put this on him, but
is he as good as Stetson Bennett?
Right.
That's my question.
He reminds me of Joe Milton. It's the arm talent, can't deny, but just playing quarterback. And again, he has a small sample size, and he took Notre Dame, but it's just I don't know if I can put all my chips behind him just yet.
Yeah, I'm not sold on him.
Right.
But I mean, I think that's where a lot of teams are right now. You could say this. I mean, that's what we say about Alabama, Auburn. I think Texas to a certain degree. Like feel you like what you have, and you internally you probably feel good about it, but you also recognize, okay, do we really know what we have here?
Right.
But yeah, no. I mean, Gunner's an interesting one, for sure. All right, Thomas, he chimes in. He goes Gunnar Stockton, Jackson Arnold, Nate Frazier, and Jam Miller. He says, honorable mention, not in the SEC anymore, but how well do we think Carson Beck does at Miami? I think Carson Beck has a nice year. I don't think he's going to have a Cam Ward type season, but I think he's going to have a.
He'll be pretty good.
I think he'll be pretty good. Let's see. Bobby chimes in. He goes Garrett Nussmeier to see if he can take the same jump that Jaden Daniels did in year 2. Let's see. He goes DJ Pickett, best quarterback recruit since Derek Stingley. Harold Perkins. And then Caden Durham for the LSU Tigers finally having a running back this year.
Are they going to hand them the ball? That's the question.
That is a very good question.
Are they going to actually run?
That is a very good question. All right, Casey, he goes Ryan Williams, DJ Lagway, Arch Manning, and Deontay Lawson. All right. CJ goes Ty Simpson, Richard Young, Bray Hubbard, and Dejon Lee. All right. Good list there. Jamari from Talladega, he goes Ryan Williams, DJ Lagway, Lenora Sellers, Jeremy Bernard. Honorable mentions for him, Ty Simpson and Jam Miller. Let's see. Nick from North Birmingham, he goes Caleb Wheatland for Auburn, Eric Singleton for Auburn, Cam Coleman for Auburn, and then Lenoris Sellers.
Okay.
Let's see. Michael chimes in. He says, hey, my son wanted to share his choices. So Michael's son, Matthew, his list goes Ryan Williams, Ty Simpson, Gunnar Stockton, and his cousin Joseph Jonah Ajani. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that name.
Okay.
Love the list there, Matthew. Drake chimes in. He goes, of course, he's a Florida fan. He goes, DJ Lagway and our 5-star freshman receivers.
There we go. Build it up.
I like it. Ballhead from Tuscaloosa. He goes, my top 4 in the SEC for next year: Ty Simpson, Lenora Sellers, DJ Lagway, and John Mateer. Honorable mentions go to Austin Simmons and Cam Coleman. See, we have someone chiming in, says, looks like Damian is leaning towards being an Auburn fan this season with his list. For my list, I'm going Ryan Williams, Ty Simpson, Bray Hubbard, and Arch Manning.
Okay.
Let's see. We have somebody else chiming in from the state of Alabama. They go Jackson Arnold, Arch Manning, DeMarcus Riddick, and DJ Lagway.
Okay.
Sure, he's glad not to see Jalen Milroe again.
Hey. We don't talk about that.
There's a lot of people who aren't happy or are happy not to see Jalen Milroe again this year. Let's
the entire
be honest.
LSU defense.
Oh, I was talking about the Alabama fans. Sorry, too soon. Let's see. Connor from Tuscaloosa, he chimes in. He's going DeJohn Lee, Lotsier Brooks, Ryan Williams, and Ty Simpson for Alabama. His honorable mention, though, for another school, he's going Austin Simmons, the Ole Miss quarterback.
I'm telling you, man, he's probably got the biggest upside. If he clicks, it's gonna be ugly.
And that is why I had him on mine. I am very confused about this one. Don from Oxford, he chimes in. He goes Abdul Carter, Mason Graham, Ashton Genty, and Ryan Williams. Well, unfortunately, 3 of those guys you're going to watch in the NFL, so I guess you're excited to watch the Browns, Giants, and Raiders this year, and Alabama football. So thank you for your list, Don. And then someone chiming in says, great music in the background there. Yeah, we got some Eminem. We got some Kendrick Lamar in the background.
Yeah,
we got a little bit of The Weeknd.
We did.
It was a nice rotation there,
Yeah,
Damien.
I was meaning to ask you before we got out of here. How you feel about Taylor Swift getting all her masters?
I'm very happy for her. Good for her. My wife was very happy about it.
There we go.
All right, so tomorrow we're going to be back 6 a.m. We're going to do SEC mascot Mount Rushmore. Y'all have asked for it. We're going to do it tomorrow. Be here at 6 a.m., but